Hello, welcome to another video from EarnPed.com. I'm Stevie B, happy to have you all with me today. Let's take some big sips to get this one started off right today. So today I am actually grinding out some Halloween Mayhem 2023. I had not planned on trying to finish the Regilite mission, but they have actually extended it a couple more days due to some of the issues that we had with lag and disconnects and stuff earlier in the event. So I'm going to go ahead and try and at least reach the next tier, maybe even finish the entire mission chain. The points this year have just slowed to an absolute crawl. It is insanely hard to get points for your mission chains this Halloween Mayhem, which is why I was so far away from finishing when normally that would not be the case. But today we're going to talk about the next event that is coming up in Entropia, and it actually starts tomorrow, November 10th. That is going to be the Arkadia Goldrush event 2023. So Goldrush is an event put on by the Planet Arkadia team. We have seen the event in the past, although this particular Goldrush is going to take a little bit of a different format. There's going to be a couple of tweaks to the Goldrush. So let's go over everything you need to know, whether you're going to compete or just do some good grinding to benefit from this event. And if you stick with me to the end of the event, I will give you strategies that can help you win some of the various categories, should you choose to compete. So first of all, let me say that I think the Arkadia development team has done an amazing job putting together the Goldrush 2023 event. This event runs from November 10th, 2023 through November 27th, 2023. You can find the official times and more information in the link in the description below to the official Planet Arkadia forum post about the event. Now, this time around, Gold Rush is going to be for everybody. There is a category for hunting, there is a category for crafting, and there's a category for mining. You can find all three NPCs that will be giving out the three various missions at the Akis teleporter on Planet Arkadia. So let's do this kind of in backwards mixed up order. We're actually going to start with mining. The mining competition runs the entire length of the event. So from the moment the gates open on the morning of the 10th until they close at midnight, or I guess it's 11:59 p.m. UTC time on the 27th. The mining mission runs the entire length of the Gold Rush event, and it is very simple. As you mine, every claim has the potential to gain you points. Just like I'm gaining points in Mayhem right now killing creatures, I'll be able to gain points in Gold Rush simply by mining every time I find a mining claim. And it's very easy. The person who has the most points at the end of the event wins. Whoever has the second most points at the end of the event gets second place. Whoever has the third most amount of points at the end of the event gets third place, so on and so forth. Now, the kicker is, the bigger your claim that you find, the bigger the resource deed that you get mining, the more points you can potentially get from that claim. So you're going to want bigger claims rather than smaller claims. And since this will run the entire length of the event, ideally you want to be mining for those really big claims 24 hours a day from the moment the gates open till the moment the event finishes to get as many points as possible. Now, the people who win this category will get some really nice prizes. There are some unlimited Terra amps for place 1, 2, and 3. And then there are some Gold Rush mining finders and extractors, rock rippers, available for places 4 and 5. Crafting is very similar. The crafting competition also runs from the very beginning of the event when the gates open all the way through the end of the event at 11:59 UTC on the 27th. So you will want to be crafting around the clock if you're going to be participating in the crafting portion of the event. Now, you can use any blueprint. It does not matter what blueprint you use. It does not have to be native to Planet Arkadia. You can use any blueprint from any source. As long as you're crafting, that's what matters. And again, as you're crafting, you will be gaining points. And again, very simply, the person with the most points at the end of the event gets first place. Whoever has the second most points gets second place, so on and so forth, prizes for the top 5 places only. Same as with mining. Now, here is something that is a little bit interesting. Just like with mining, they have made it so that they want you crafting more valuable items. They want you crafting things that have higher TT values, and it doesn't have to be like a single item. It's not like the difference between a crafted amplifier that has a 10 ped TT value versus a crafted amplifier that has a 500 ped TT value. You can craft something that is stackable, like simple 1 conductors or plastic springs, but it's the TT value per successful crafting attempt that is what determines the points. And again, the bigger the TT value is, so essentially the bigger your hit while crafting, the more points you stand to gain. So you're going to want to go after things that are going to give you higher TT values per success rather than things that will give you smaller TT values per success. Now, I already know what everybody's thinking, and they already addressed this. You can use explosive projectiles. You are allowed to craft explosive projectiles for this competition. However, the explosive projectiles blueprints have had a serious penalty put in so that they will not award the types of points that something else with the same TT values would. And they have a very good reasoning for this. By doing this, part of the goal of this entire event is to foster trading and create a healthy economy between hunters, miners, and crafters, and make it so that trading, crafting, markup, demand, and supply is all there. This is designed to not just be a great competition, it's designed to stimulate the economy, and obviously that makes sense. They want people crafting usable stuff, end items that can be sold or used, not just stuff that's going to be done away with like you would explosive projectiles, right? So they want you actually crafting things. So again, we'll get to some strategy at the end of the video, but for now, that is what you need to know about the crafting portion. Now, the prizes for crafting are pretty cool. Places 1, 2, and 3 actually get item shops with different point values. I believe first place has item points with a value of 20,000 ped. Third place has a shop with item points worth 8,000 ped. There are also some unlimited QR100 blueprints to make limited items like pulsar plates, like Terra amps, that will be provided to winners for places 1, 2, and 3. And then places 4 and 5 get the unlimited QR100 blueprints that are for limited items that are high value, in demand, high demand items. They get the blueprints, but no shop for places 4 and 5 in the crafting competition. And then that brings us to hunting, and this is where most people are probably going to be participating. And it is completely different. So first of all, there are 4 categories. Category 1, you have to have less than 145 HP. And there is a glitch. The mission will tell you that for Category 1 you have to have less than 140 HP. That's incorrect. It's 145 HP. Category 2, you have to have less than 200 HP. Category 3, you have to have less than 300 HP. And Category 4 is unrestricted. You can have as much HP as you want. Now, you can only compete in one category. So if you're an Uber with 700 HP, you can compete in Category 4, but not Category 3. Or let's do it backwards, because the other categories do have limits. Let's say you had 299 HP. You could compete in Category 3 or 4, but you couldn't compete in both. You would have to pick one. So if you had 299 HP and you're like right there on the border, you would have to choose, do you want to go into Category 3, which has a 300 HP limit, or would you want to go into Category 4, which has no HP limit? But you can only compete in one category. Now, how does the hunting portion of this event work? Well, like I said, it's slightly different. You go into the instance, you kill creatures, and as you kill creatures, you gain points. Again, whoever has the most points wins. Second most points gets second place, third most points gets third place, so on and so forth. Now, here is the kicker. Whenever you go into the instance, there is a 12-hour run. So the system will record your score for 12 hours. At the end of 12 hours, it goes, okay, this is run number 1. It is now finished, and the final score is this. Then it will immediately start your second 12-hour run. And at the end of that 12-hour session, it goes, okay, run number 2 is finished. The final score for run number 2 is this amount. It will immediately start recording your third 12-hour run. And at the end of that 12 hours, it will go, okay, the final score for this run is this amount. It will do this for a total of 10 runs. So you can run for a total of 120 hours back to back inside the hunting instance. And it will tabulate that into 10 runs of 12 hours each. Whichever one of those runs has the highest score is the one that will be used as your quote-unquote official score. That is the score that will be used to determine your placement against everybody else's score. So let me give you an easy example. Let's say that I do 10 runs, you do 10 runs. So in my 10 runs, 9 of those runs come out to exactly 90,000 points each. However, in one run, I managed to get 95,000 points. Then it's going to look at my 10 runs and say the highest score was 95,000 points. Stevie B's score is 95,000 points. It's just going to disregard all of the lower scores. So then let's say you did 10 runs. And in your 10 runs, 9 of your runs came out to 85,000 points each, but you had one run that came out to 100,000 points. It's going to keep your 100,000 point run, and it's going to disregard all the lower points. Then the final scores will be tabulated, and it's going to say that you got first place, I got second place. You had a 100,000 point run, I only had a 95,000 point run. You get first, I get second. So this is very, very, very straightforward. If you're hunting and you're competing, and you're seriously going for a prize, you want to run all out for 120 straight hours. And whichever run has the highest score is the one that will be compared to everybody else's highest score to determine your placement. Now, if you go over 120 hours, you can keep grinding. However, you will not have any more scores recorded. Once those 10, 12-hour runs are recorded, you're free to keep grinding. You're free to keep getting loot out of the creatures and grinding codex, but the competition is over for you after that 120 hours. After that 120 hours, that is it. Whichever one of your 10 runs had the highest score, that is your highest score. Now, very, very, very important, if you're going to be seriously competing in any of these categories, hunting, mining, or crafting, you do not want to abandon the mission. Once you get the mission, whatever you do, do not abandon it. Now, for hunting, there are some really cool prizes. First place for categories 1, 2, 3, and 4 is a special Mako weapon, Mako, which is a brand of weapon on planet Arkadia, and it is Goldrush edition. They all seem to have 86% efficiency, but they do have different stats for category 1 versus category 2, 3, and 4. Obviously, the higher the category, then it seems the more DPS and the more damage the weapon does, although they all have 86% efficiency, according to the information on the forum post about the event. Second place for all 4 categories of hunting seems to be a gyro fap of some sort, which I believe it's an improved gyro fap. I'm not actually looking at the information. I'm doing this from memory. Goldrush edition, obviously. Third place is an armor set. The type of armor depends on which category you're in, but some very nice armor sets for third place. Fourth place is a complete set of 7 Pulsar Armor Plate Gold Rush Edition. This is great. They're actually stating it is a 7-piece set. The last time they did Gold Rush, they had Pulsar Armor Plates as one of the prizes, but they didn't give out a set of 7, which is really what you need for a complete armor set. They only gave out 1 plate per winner, which was honestly just kind of crappy. But, you know, that's personal opinion. Long story, the entire Gold Rush last time was kind of a disaster, which is why I'm glad they're doing it this way instead. I think this is a much, much better format. And then there is also a 5th place prize, which is an Oratan pet. I believe it's an Oratan axe pet for 5th place in all 4 of the hunting categories. So, all things said and done, this seems to be a great event, well thought out, great prizes, great system. Everything about it is aces in my book. Now, how it will actually go when the event starts tomorrow, I can't tell you. But from everything that I'm reading about the event, they put a lot of thought and a lot of effort into this. And this is exactly what the events on Arkadia should be. This is exactly what I would expect a Gold Rush event to be that was properly planned and properly thought out. Now, I told you if you would stay with me till the end of the video, I would give you guys some strategies on how to win all three categories. So first of all, let's start with hunting. If you think that you're going to go into any of the hunting categories with less than the most DPS possible, with anything less than a tier 10 unlimited weapon that is high DPS, full buffs, maxed out in every way from both the item and action side, and you're going to stand a chance at winning, you are sadly mistaken. The people who win the hunting categories are going to have rings that max out their buffs. They're going to run pills that max out their buffs. They are going to be going all out for 120 consecutive hours. These scores are going to be ridiculous compared to people who have less than full buffs and less than the highest possible DPS that they can handle given the HP. So I would expect that Messi is going to win, Eve is going to win, JBK is going to win a prize. All three of those people will probably end up winning prizes, most likely in Category 4. Can I tell you who the winners will be in Categories 1, 2, and 3? No, I can't. There's just too many different variables that go into it. But needless to say, if you're going to be competing seriously, you are going to have the best rings in-game, the best pills in-game, and some of the best weapons in-game to compete in hunting. However, Gold Rush has something for those of us who don't feel like competing professionally in hunting. Gold Rush notoriously has skill pills in the loot pool. It is the only way, or until Cyrene recently came out with their Imperium Snowbase event, it has been the only way to get skill pills in-game from hunting from an event. Now, the pills are account bound, but last time they did a Gold Rush event, the pills had a pretty good drop rate, and they were all 1 hour, 100% skill gain pills. So this means you don't have to compete to be a winner. If you just want to go to Arkadia, go into the event instance, grind out some mobs, grind out some codex, and loot you some 1 hour, 100% skill gain pills, then that could be a big game changer in your gameplay. There are a lot of ways that 1 hour, 100% skill gain pills can come in super, super, super handy. So you don't even have to compete in hunting. If you can just go get some of those out of the loot pool, you'll be doing good. I plan to do that. I'm going to go grind it for a couple hours, get me a nice little stack of account-bound 100% 1 hour skill pills, and I'm going to call it good. I'm not going to compete. I'm just going for the skill pills. Now, have they said that skill pills will be in the loot pool? No, they have not. But considering that is a staple of the Gold Rush events from the past, I fully expect that to be something that we see tomorrow. If I get to Arkadia and there are no account-bound 1 hour 100% skill pills in the hunting loot, I will be quitting, wrapping up, and going back to Cyrene very, very, very quickly. So we can do that. Now that is a maybe. That is an uncertain strategy. But what is certain is, like I said, for hunting, you're going to need the best rings, the best pills, and you're going to have to go all out with the best DPS Tier 10 Unlimited to win. Now for mining, we can get a little more strategic. We know that the larger the mining claim, the more points you can get. Ideally, you want to be mining 24 hours a day around the clock, and you can mine anywhere on Arkadia, Arkadia Moon, or Arkadia Underground. So what this means is that probably one of the best strategies for trying to win the mining competition is going to be using pre-amped limited mining finders. Mining finders that use vastly more probes than normal. And you are going to want to add very, very, very large amplifiers to them, like D-class amps and level 13 mining amps. And you would probably want to do indoor mining. Now, indoor mining, which would be mining on Arkadia Underground or on Arkadia Moon, is high risk, high reward mining. You only have about a 5% hit rate. So out of every 100 drops you make, you're only going to get about 5 claims. But those 5 claims are going to be much, much, much larger than normal. This is how we see people set all-time highs. Pre-amped mining finders, large mining amplifiers attached to them with indoor high-risk, high-reward mining. You don't get as many claims, but the claims you do get are usually massive. Now, here's the problem. Obviously, this can result in massive, massive, massive financial losses. Even if you hit a whole lot of really large claims, you can lose a lot of money very quickly doing this. However, since the bigger claims get you more points, this is going to be a preferable strategy rather than just mining 24 hours a day with a TT mining finder. I'm sure there are people that will try mining 24 hours a day with a TT mining finder, but how is that going to get you anywhere near the amount of points that you would get with preamped mining finders with an amplifier on them indoor mining? A single hit, much less some good luck, would do you more good. So I expect to see this be the strategy of top contenders, this high risk, high reward strategy, which is also going to require the bankroll to sustain it and the ability to stomach the losses and have nerves of steel to do that type of mining. But that is how I expect people will win the mining competition. And given the value of these unlimited tera amps for places 1, 2, and 3, there are some people that might be willing to lose a whole lot of money in order to win those unlimited tera amps for first, second, and third place in the mining category. Now, for crafting, there is a similar strategy. Again, you could craft something with a low TT value 24 hours a day. However, the bigger the value of the item you craft, the more points you stand to gain. So again, you're going to want to be crafting 24 hours a day, but you're also going to want to be crafting something with a very, very large TT value. So I expect that a top strategy will be for top contenders to craft EP4 on condition. Now, yes, explosive projectiles do have that massive, massive disadvantage that they have been nerfed and have a essentially a restriction on the points that they will award. But the reason people will be crafting EP4 on condition is because, yes, they want the big hits to get a lot of points out of it, even if those points are reduced. But then they're going to turn around and use the explosive projectiles they get from those hits crafting on EP4 to then craft recycle blueprints to convert that explosive projectiles into shrapnel. They're probably also going to do this on condition, again, hoping for big hits. If you look at the all-time high for crafting, the number 1 and number 2 all-time highs for crafting have been from recycle blueprints, where people recycled explosive projectiles into shrapnel to the tune of 500 to 600,000 ped per hit. So actually, if we go to the Hall of Fame and we go to crafting, and we go to all-time high, shrapnel, 592,000 ped. Shrapnel, 515,000 ped. The biggest hits ever made from crafting. Shrapnel, 232,000 ped, number 3. So we can expect that this is going to be a top strategy. Now, what will probably happen is they probably will not just craft explosive projectiles and recycle them endlessly 24 hours a day. Again, this is a high-risk, high-reward strategy that would require losing a substantial amount of money in order to win the prize. What will probably happen is they will be making level 13 finder amplifier amps to sell to the miners. They will be making limited preamped mining finders to sell to the miners. They will be making Armatrix weapons and extenders to sell to the hunters. They will be making damage enhancers to sell to the hunters. And then they will be making D-class mining amps to sell to the hunters. All of these things have pretty large TT values from a crafting standpoint. All of these things have pretty high demand, pretty high markup, and will have even more demand and even more markup during the event. And then they will supplement this with some explosive projectiles for on condition and some recycle blueprints also on condition. I expect that they will spend 24 hours a day crafting these mining amplifiers, the finders that are preamped, the weapons, the enhancers. That's what they'll be crafting around the clock. And then there will be a little bit of supplementing that with EP4 on condition, and then recycling the EP4 into shrapnel also on condition, hoping for those massive hits, but doing this in a way that essentially mitigates the risk and takes a little bit of the luck out of it. There might be some players who decide to go strictly with D-class mining amps, level 13 mining amps, and P20 extenders, and just not go for the shrapnel and the explosive projectiles at all. However, I think the vast majority of the top contenders will at least do some amount of EP4 on condition and some amount of recycling those EPs also on condition, hoping for an even larger point award to just give them enough of a gap that they don't even have to worry about winning the competition after that. Again, without in-game knowledge, without the ability to source the blueprints and materials, without the very, very, very large bankroll that will be needed for this, and without the stomach and nerves of steel to handle this kind of high-risk, high-reward strategy, it would not be wise to try and go in to this crafting competition on a hair. It would not be wise to try and do the crafting competition on a $3 bankroll with a simple one conductor blueprint. That would not be the smartest move in the world. So for crafting and mining, it's going to take a lot of in-game knowledge, it's going to take a lot of skills, it's going to take a massive bankroll, and it is going to take nerves of absolute steel if you're going to be a serious contender in those two categories. Now, there are opportunities that this event provides to the rest of us, even if we don't compete. Just like hunting, we can hope that there's going to be some skill pills in the loot so we can farm some codex. We know that this event is going to have an effect on the demand and markup of items in the economy. We know that preamped mining finders are going to be in demand. We know that mining finder amplifiers are going to be in demand. We know that damage enhancers are going to be in demand. We know that output amplifiers and pyrite are going to be in demand. We know that high tier rate weapons are going to be in demand. We know that limited amplifiers for weapons and P20 extenders are going to be in demand. We can take advantage of all this. If we have the game knowledge to know what's going to be in demand, what the hunters, miners, and crafters are going to want to be wanting, then we can predict ahead of time what's going to happen. Those markups are going to go up. The demand for those items is going to go up. The cost of recycle blueprints will go up. So this is a great time to take some of that stuff that's been sitting in your inventory and get a little bit of extra money out of it and sell it off. This is a great time to go farm some of these items if you know how and where to farm them and sell them for a little bit of extra profit. This is a great event all around. I am a huge, huge fan of how they've chosen to do this, and I can't wait to get to Arkadia and grind out the instance a little bit myself just to see if the skill pills are actually there like they always have been, and just have a little bit of fun grinding out some codex, getting some skill pills, and participating. I'm looking forward to the extra markup and the extra demand and the extra money that it's going to be generated in the economy from the people that are seriously competing. Now, do I have any idea who's going to win the mining category? No, I have a pretty good guess of one name that I could probably put out there as a potential person I think might win one of the spots on the mining category. For crafting, I totally expect Akmata to get first or second place and Aurelius to either get first or second place. I think they're going to be the top two contenders for crafting. Could be completely wrong, but I completely expect them to be in the top 5 when this is all said and done. Ivan Stockhouse will probably also be in the top 5 for crafting, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see either Bonnie, JBK, Messi, or Eve in the crafting top 10, even though there's only prizes for the top 5 places. I would not be surprised at all to see some of the top hunters in this event end up in very close competition for some of the crafting prizes as well. Sometimes those things kind of go hand in hand. So I could see somebody winning one of the hunting categories also either winning or coming very, very, very close to winning the crafting categories also. Now, remember, there are only prizes for the first 5 top scores in mining and crafting. In hunting, there are prizes for the top 5 scores in each of the hunting divisions. And again, Division 1, you have to have less than 145 HP. Division 2, less than 200 HP. Division 3, less than 300 HP. Division 4 for hunting, you can have as much HP as you want. So guys, that is everything I've got for you about the Arkadia Goldrush event that starts tomorrow. I hope you guys all have a great time. Guys, let me know in the comments below if you're going to be competing via mining or crafting, what strategy are you going to be going with? if you're going to be seriously competing in mining and crafting, are you going to go with one of the strategies that I have suggested, or do you have a completely different strategy? Let me know in the comments below. Please do as the banner says at the bottom of the screen, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon. That keeps you up to date with all the new content that we post, all the newest events in Entropia, the newest news in Entropia, and all the ways we can play smarter and not harder. And once you hit those buttons one time, you're done. You don't ever have to do it again, and it really helps us out. Also, please hit the like button on every single video. It really helps us combat the haters and trolls that are out there. And when you hit those buttons and when you comment on the videos, it gives us more exposure. YouTube shows us to more people, and a lot of times it's the first time those people have ever heard of Entropia. They start watching the videos, watching the channel, and then the next thing you know, they're emailing us, telling us to thank you guys, because now this is their hobby, their passion, the game that they love, and it's all because of you. We make the content, you guys help us get the exposure, and you are helping bring the love and joy and passion of Entropia to people who are falling in love with this game for the very, very first time. You guys deserve to know the impact you're having. Head over to earnped.com, because when you earn, we earn, and we will see you guys with more content later this week. Take care, Stevies.